Hey, it's Dave. We're back. Dudes Doing Business, episode 26. Before we hop into it, let's talk to Joe about what's going on at manoutfitters.com.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Dave. Dudes Doing Business, as always, brought to you by manoutfitters.com. Pays our bills, lets us keep sitting in rooms on Fridays, drinking beers and podcasting. So, we got a lot of new stuff coming to the site pretty much every day now. New Patagonia jackets, Southern Marsh pants, hats, Filson jackets, pretty much all the good stuff you know and love on Man Outfitters. So get 10% off your order with the code DUDES. Go check it out and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Joe. Today we got a good one. We got Brad Key on, otherwise known as Blade. You'll find out why. Brad is he's our sales guy. That's what I call him. He's going to give you his full title here in a sec, but he's just a guy that closes more deals than anybody in this company, I think. Him and Big T-Shirt Matt, they're 1A, 1B, no particular order, but here we go. Let's hop into it. Okay, here we are. I'm here with Madison. What's up, Madison?
Hey there, David.
I got Joe here too. You already heard from him, but let's hear from him again. We like Joe.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Dave?
Man, I'm chilling. We got a full house today. This is good because our guest is none other than Brad Key, known to many as Blade, our media ops guy. What's up, Brad Key?
Hey there.
Brad, what do you do here?
Media ops, basically.
Media ops, what is that? Because I'm still trying to unpack it, and I work with you every day.
So I handle a lot of different aspects of our media operations, which I know that's a technical term. Basically, my core job is to manage advertising relationships so that our third-party advertisers can have like a window into our content team. So anything that we have to do creatively, I connect our creative teams with our third-party advertising partners and make sure that things are executed in a way that is brand safe, but that still, achieves their goals. So that's kind of like at a very basic level what I do. Beyond that, I field inquiries. I help, like you said, develop business with Big T-Shirt Matt. I do things of that nature.
Operations is a very broad umbrella term for just a lot of different shit.
I'm like the Cordell Stewart of Grand X.
Oh, you mean Slash?
Yes. So I play quarterback a little. I carry the ball a little. I catch the ball a little. I can kick it if you needed me to.
Yeah, he's a five-tool player.
Remember Cordell Stewart?
Oh, you're damn right, dude.
Yeah.
Former Steeler great.
That's right.
So when people want to compliment us on the Triple X takeover and the return of Xander Cage, we should just direct them to you?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's Brad at grandx.co, not
right.
.com, .co. So have you?
That's a common mistake, by the way.
Oh, happens all the time.
It's really people will just take it for granted that it's .com, and it you can really miss some important things.
Wasn't .co gonna be? Isn't that the story, Madison? It was the domain of the future for businesses or something. Because
it's actually grandx.com was taken.
Oh.
So we went with .co, which is also a common use for to mean company, but it actually means Columbia.
Yeah.
It's Columbia's national URL ending.
So because we're grandx.co, we could run a gambling operation or something on the website and be not that we would ever do anything to.
Well, you know what? I actually changed my email address to, it's still the core of it's .co, but the one I use now primarily is grandxmedia.com because we have grandxmedia.com. And
it's good to know.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense to have media on the end of Grand X too when you're dealing with advertising partnerships and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It kind of just clarifies things.
Plus, I know any cold sales emails that I'm gonna get, it probably knocks off at least the ones who didn't do any research, who just send it to Joe at
You're missing
grandex.com.
so many solicitations for marketing automation widget dashboards.
Yeah, darn. Like, just the solution could have just be passing me by.
I wonder if there's a Joe at grandex.com like in real life. You should just email and be like, "Are you there? Someone there? I feel sorry for you."
It's like when you used to like you'd like move to a new apartment and you just get like the old person's mail.
Yeah.
And you'd like
That always creeped me out.
maybe forward it to them.
That always creeped me out because a lot of times I would just assume they were dead. I had no evidence
You
of
didn't
that.
like open it and look and see if there were like checks.
Well, only if it was like I would look through like their medical stuff. Like, if it's from a doctor, like I want to know what procedures this dude had. Like that was my move. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, Brad.
Yes.
You know Madison longer than anybody in this room, and you've also known Micah Ham longer than anybody. How did you end up here?
Let's do a combo question. You go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to say, first of all, Brad, Brad's making the rounds on the podcast. So he was on the Inside TFM podcast where he told spectacular college stories about producer Micah over there. What is it? Hampocalypse.
We were just told it was
so
Hampocalypse.
go check out Google TF or search TFM on iTunes and find Hampocalypse to hear some good Micah college stories.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to frame it up as like Brad and I go way back to high school. We didn't go to high school together. We actually went to rival high schools, and we were the same grade, and we were part of crews that hated each other because Austin High hated Westlake and vice versa. And we were like enemies, but not necessarily me and you, right? Like,
correct.
You were like you've always been like a nice guy. You're never like I was like loud and obnoxious and drunk, and like me and Brian Walker used to like have some weird beef that didn't make sense. Who was a guy that was part of Brad's crew.
One of many.
But Brad was just kind of like cool, like chilled out, like dated the hottest girl in my grade at Austin High, like was fucking all-star basketball player, like just kind of being cool and hanging out, and like, but our crews beefed.
I wasn't at first I wasn't accepted, so when I showed up, I kind of was quiet and just did my thing and drank beers. This was in high school. Unfortunately, we were drinking beers then, and like Madison was always nice to me. There was like 2 or 3 guys who like actively made it uncomfortable for me to be around, but they tried so hard that they eventually
because
just, like, tired themselves out. I like rope-a-doped them.
You were dating one of our girls.
Right. Exactly. And then, so should we get to like Taco Cabana, like beef? Like we used to all meet at Taco Cabana at like midnight, and there'd be like brawls and throwdowns.
It's so wild because it was like, and it was only in the earlier years of high school because like once we got older, we realized like, hey, wait, y'all are like the same as us. You just go to this different school, and then we just started hanging out.
Exactly. And to go back even further than that, so just to kind of give some context to this, I was in like the suburbs out west of Austin, and Madison was in like West Austin, like nearer to downtown.
No, I was in South Austin. I was off of South Lamar.
But it was like the Terrytown area was like y'all's hood.
Well, that was, yeah. Austin High is weird because it tracks from like a lot of different areas. So like a bulk of our crew was like Terrytown, but then it was like Travis Country, Barton Hills.
Right.
Can I interject? I live in Terrytown. I love how Terrytown to outsiders, maybe it's just me, it sounds like a tough neighborhood. Like, oh, he's from Terrytown. Terrytown's not tough.
It's bougie as fuck.
It's fucking. Okay, let me be clear. I live in an apartment in Terrytown.
Okay.
The home value in Terrytown is through the effing
It's
roof.
outrageous.
Well, it's like the
Teardowns.
it's like the super nice like old like turn of the century Victorians that have been like
isn't
masterfully
the
renovated.
castle from Blank Check in there
The
too?
castle from Blank Check.
If anybody,
the
it might
first
be-
place in Austin that got expensive was Terrytown.
Was it
in
really?
terms of real estate? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fixer-uppers there. Like, oh, this doesn't have central AC or heating, but you're looking at $1 million.
Yeah, for the land.
You're like, okay, great.
Yeah, you can't. You could get like 0.15 acres for probably like $995.
That's crazy.
So
Shout out to Austin.
I have no idea. I know nothing about real estate pricing. I'm just completely making that up, by the way. but it's somewhere
Wow,
around
must
there.
be nice.
We're going down this rabbit hole because my first introduction to Madison's life was with Terrytown Pharmacy. I was like 15 or 16, and I worked the cash register over there. So like I was coming out from the burbs into the city.
Okay.
Selling drugs.
Well, I was more like selling
Tarrytown.
candy, and then there was like a pharmacy behind me.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know those Terrytown housewives were fucking hitting that thing up for all the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And hitting you up for the good stuff.
Do you remember like Katie Moscow? Do you remember her? She came in one day and she had a monkey with her, and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, walked around in the aisles. Like
She had
this
a
is
pet,
Terrytown
it was
wealth.
it was a pet
fuck?
monkey, but I don't even think they referred to the monkey as a pet
No.
because I think they would have been offended because they treated this monkey as like one of their children and dressed the monkey in like clothing. And
Mike could
then,
just
and then
skip it out.
eventually I think they were forced to because they had a fucking monkey cage in their backyard.
I never got that far. I only met the monkey at
Yeah.
Terrytown Pharmacy.
No. They had a full on cage, gigantic cage that the monkey lived in their backyard. But I'm pretty sure like some sort of animal rights group was like, hey, you can't fucking have a monkey in Terrytown.
That might be against some code, some
I
city
think it
ordinance.
was.
So this gives the audience
Yeah.
some context to the style of wealth of Terrytown. You could have wild, exotic animals living in your backyard.
Which is not where
It's
I
wild
grew
out
up.
here, man. We got
I grew
monkeys.
I grew up in like the more I grew up in Barton Hills, which is like South Austin.
Still
And-
very nice.
But I rolled with all those fucking Terrytown kids.
right. A good crowd,
NTC, Travis Country.
which was where my girlfriend at the time
Yeah.
lived.
And Oak Hill. It was like, we had it pulled from a lot of different areas. Actually, and the east side. We had
Y'all were represented all over
yeah.
the city.
We had good diversity.
Yeah,
Not much
so-
diversity at Westlake.
No, we're pretty uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that was a tangent. I love it.
That was.
No, I like hearing that. Okay, because, well, how did y'all reconnect? Because Brad went to Mizzou, and Madison went to school with me
Well,
at a far more prestigious school, Texas State. We've already been through this. We know it. But Brad,
the Harvard of the South.
like
is what they
Madison
call
was
it.
cool enough to hire a Mizzou guy here, and he's hired a few of them. How did this happen?
Well, I think first, I think we need to touch on the senior trip because that was an interesting one. That was like the culminate, like from like our groups beefing all the way through high school to like getting to the point where we're like, oh, these guys are cool, and like we started hanging out. To we actually like all ended up going on a Cancun senior spring break trip where like we partied in Cancun together.
Exactly. So we beefed for a bit, and then as things developed, finally it all came to a culmination with a senior trip before we all kind of went to our different
So
college
like
destinations.
so all the beef was dissolved. We kind of we celebrated the ending of our high school careers in Cancun, being able to legally drink at 18, and it was I don't have any like specific stories from that time except for the cater headbutting
Brian Walker.
Brian Walker multiple times and splitting his eyes open on 2 different occasions.
It was in jest though. This wasn't like a violent act. It was like a hey, how you
It
doing?
was like a fun, friendly headbutt
just
that
didn't-
didn't go right.
I hate those guys.
It was just
I
a
love
little
Cater.
too aggressive.
I hate people who headbutted. I
feel-
had
Headbutted,
buddies-
yeah.
people
I
who
feel like
headbutt-
that's a pretty
he's the
common
only guy.
thing.
No, dude.
Is it?
think so?
Is
I
the,
have-
the
I
headbutting?
I knew a guy in college too who was just
Okay.
like the headbutt guy. Like if
Yeah.
you get too drunk with him, you just have to like
That's-
I
know
never
to
we,
stand
understood
back.
we had like a 6-month, maybe year stint where like every time we were wasted, we just headbutted each other, and it was bad. Like I have vivid memories of like everything going white after a headbutt, which is
Sick.
I think is like a minor concussion.
No,
right?
it is. You
Why,
Yeah.
why don't you guys just like do like drugs like normal kids or something?
No,
Like,
you know
just-
who it
No,
was
we
who
were
would do this?
anti-drugs. We were pro getting really drunk and headbutting each
You
other.
know where you get headbutted? I had friends who played on the club rugby team at Texas. Every time I would go up, like, hey, come to this rugby party. Oh, okay. First one, just dude's just running up headbutting people. I met a guy, I never met him before. He fucking just headbutts me. I'm like, I'm not cool with that.
This guy just has high levels of T.
No wonder you have bad feelings towards
Yeah.
headbutters.
Yeah, I mean, it was
It
fine.
can't be a stranger. Like, it has to be.
No, I
it has
gotta
to
know
come from a
you.
good place.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
headbutt
that's
strangers.
assault if you headbutt
Yeah.
a
It's
stranger.
assault.
I'm pretty sure that's by definition. You would know. You're a legal counsel here.
Joke's on him. He's in jail.
Oh,
So how did we reconnect? Because I know you were working ad sales for KGSR.
right. So I graduated from Missouri with a marketing degree, and my parents own an ad agency here in Austin, and they do kind of like TV, billboard, radio, traditional advertising. And so when I graduated college, my dad, he's like, well, you like to drink beer and like go out with people and do things, like you're really social, you make friends easily, like you should just go into media sales, because like
You were extremely social right out of school, and you
Super.
like completely flipped it 180 where you're like really tame now.
I kind of just ran out of steam.
Yeah, you got it all out of your system.
Well, I say that, but I was talking to Joe at New Year's, and I was telling him, I think I'm back. Like, I'm gonna have some beers, and like, here we are.
yeah,
No,
yep.
yeah, literally, New Year's Eve at Bradley's house. It's just like he looks at me in the eye and he just says, "I think I'm gonna party again," because he's been kind of
Jeez.
when he first started here, he was just on this next level of partying. Like I couldn't even keep up with him.
Dude,
But
I understand that. I go through phases too. It's like, well, you know what it is like some people drink to relieve stress. When I'm stressed, the last thing I want to do is drink, because it's just gonna like make me feel like shit, and because I'm usually stressed about like having too much shit to do,
Right.
and like not getting enough shit done. So like if I drink, it's just gonna like make things worse. So like I like to drink when I'm not stressed, which is
That makes sense.
probably better.
No, I agree with that.
It's not destructive.
I'm
at
usually
least.
stressed because I did drink.
yeah.
It's like, oh man, I went really hard Friday and Saturday, and then this week was kind of a wash. So now I'm stressed. I'm not going to just continue down that path.
Yeah, so I'm back.
You're
Brad's
back.
back. It's official.
We're
back
actually,
off the wagon.
I need to take Friday off.
Oh yeah, Madison. Yeah, I forgot to
going to
email you,
Denver.
but we're going.
Joe
to,
and I
we're-
are.
Yeah, we're going to party in Denver.
Isn't today
so-
Friday?
next Friday.
Oh,
Y'all are
okay.
going to Denver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me talk to y'all before you
We'll-
come
we'll-
back.
we'll
We
run that
have-
by
we
HR.
have yeah.
Oh
We have
yeah,
a few things
sure.
you want me to
Hey,
grab
Blake.
there.
Yeah, I will gladly pick up whatever.
Y'all going to Denver?
Denver product.
Like a shirt, like a Colorado
you want-
Rockies
yeah.
jersey
So
or
our
something.
Yeah,
girlfriends-
I've been looking for some Denver souvenirs. I fucking love the Rockies.
Yeah. Well,
God, we're old.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we can put together.
Fuck, this is the most washed podcast. No, all right, we got to talk about this because KGSR.
Okay.
That's where I understand that you acquired the nickname Blade.
So I acquired the nickname because of when I was growing up.
But somebody
I was a
found
rollerblader.
out at KGSR, right?
Right. Yes. And so here's the story. I get to work at KGSR, and like I'm by far the youngest person there. Usually people who are in media sales, like they work their way up, and they have like once they become like a senior salesperson, they have like a giant agency list. So then they don't have to prospect. They have this built-in business that continues to funnel in, and it's entirely commissions based. So to get to that point is difficult, but once you do, you kind of like ride the wave. And so by the time I got there, like there's all these senior people there that are doing sales and stuff, and like also the economy was bad, so it was really difficult to get a job there to begin with at the time. This was in 2008 when I first graduated.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
2000. Anyways, so because of that, like we had like this older crowd, and then the only people who knew me from like high school and growing up like that were working at the radio station that had been like locals were like the promo team, and like those were the kids I rollerbladed with back in the days. So this kid Evan, he's like doing like promo stuff, like where you like set up like remotes is what they call them in radio, where you're like at a grocery store and you set up a table and the DJ hangs out.
I wanted to start doing remote podcasts.
Exactly. So then we could call Evan and he would set it up for us. So Evan lets the cat out of the bag that I used to be a blader. So they
An
started calling me
aggressive skater.
Blade.
An extreme rollerblader.
I was
This
very
is-
For
good.
those that don't know, the short term or
This is-
short name blader.
This is where Brad and I. This is where we have the most common ground, I think.
Well, and this is
A lot of
also a
synergy.
great tie-in back to the grunge era. That we like to touch on.
Oh, you guys are into grunge.
We try to bring everything back to the grunge era.
Uh-huh.
Our
on
best
this
podcast review is, hey, check. It was like might be our last one. It was like two guys talk about the grunge era with their boss.
Yeah.
And like, it was 5 stars.
Fair assessment.
And it's because there was one podcast where we just went down this like Nirvana wormhole or something weird. But
the whole Seattle.
We go through a lot of wormholes.
Yeah. But it's weird because like the skater thing, I was obviously deep in it. It transcended that because I remember the soundtrack when I was going to skate parks. It was like 311 and stuff. 311 was to me is the ultimate skate park music for when I was involved in it.
This is before like Amber Is My Energy. So this is like
like their old
what
stuff.
is the song?
Down.
That's probably
Down was their first single, but they had stuff before that was getting pumped through whatever skate park, Rapid Revolutions, Eisenberg's in Plano that I was going to.
For some reason I have this odd memory of changing out the bearings on my rollerblades while listening to Alice in Chains, Down in a Hole.
Oh,
it wasn't a dark time. As dark as that sounds, it's a good memory. It's just strangely enough.
Down in a Hole
it's a really dark song.
It's a dark song, and it's not even their darkest. Like
I don't
Roosters might be their darkest.
I don't know what Roosters about.
I
assume it's about drugs.
So
most of them
how deep into the extreme rollerblading game were you? Were you like tearing up vert ramps?
Yeah, definitely. So we office across the street from an elementary school here. Valley View is what it's called. And there's like a 30-foot curved handrail that goes down the left side of the building. Next time you guys leave, just look over there. It's huge. I used to could like grind that all the way down, do stuff like that.
What kind of skates were you shredding in?
I started with Tarmacs, which is like a hard boot, if you want to be technical about it. And then I went to the Backyard Bobs, which is like a soft boot, more feel.
Yeah.
Were you pure blader or did you ever skateboard?
I skateboarded some, and then I never was very good. Like I could like kickflip and ollie and stuff, but like I never got to like vert ramp.
Yeah, that's usually kids usually then transition to rollerblading when they're not good at skateboarding.
I think what happened was like middle school sports came, and that like knocked out my interests in aggressive inline skating. And
that's what did it for me. I sold out and started playing.
Me too.
If you can believe it, basketball and football.
I have this. I remember. I have this like very vivid memory because I was big into skateboarding from like 5th grade to right before high school. And I remember my older sister, who's 3 years older than me, who was always like the person that I looked at as like she's so cool because she was always like cool and popular. And I remember her telling me like, hey, like when you get to high school, if you still skateboard, you're gonna have to like hang out with all the losers under the bridge.
Dude, my sister told me the same thing.
No way.
Swear to God.
It was
she wasn't
like
that
this very
specific.
memorable like conversation. She was like they like smoke cigarettes under the bridge before class.
I can remember
hang out with them if you skateboard.
So I went into 7th grade still heavy skater mode, hair parted down the middle, long hair, Kurt Cobain style, just shredding, wearing Jinkos, just a total scum kid. And I remember going into football, and I was already up against it because I'm young for my grade, and I'm tiny, and I'm a wide receiver. Not even like a fast one, not even like a Wes Welker, just like a tiny white dude who's not good at really particularly anything. And I had this long hair, and I used to get ragged on for it. Then one day I shaved it. I just cut it short. And I remember like going to practice that day, and the coaches like noticed it. And, like, they stopped, like, we were doing, because we had to play both sides of the ball, so I was doing defensive back drills, and they stopped everything, like, well, God damn it, rough cut his hair. Thank fucking God. And I'll never forget, it was, like, Coach Harima. And, like, he just called me out, and, like, everybody's just looking at me like, what a cheese dude.
Those are the defining moments. Those things that stick with you. It's like, oh, this is how I'm not... Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, is this the new aerodynamic look, rough? And I'm like, and like, you know, they're condescending because it wasn't, because I'm slow.
So I had a very similar experience. I had my hair like really long. I had like a cartilage earring, I hate to admit.
Oh my God.
And, yeah, I was.
Which ear? I can't even tell.
I could still put it in if I wanted to, right here.
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't, I know. So I had that look going, right? And to hold, I had really long hair, like Sunshine from Remember the Titans. Like that was often like a connection that was made between myself and that character. So I would put on a bandana under my helmet in middle school playing football. And
like
when
prime time.
Well, it gets to that point.
Oh,
so I get
sorry.
to my first day of two-a-days in high school. The coach sees like a little bandana hanging out of my helmet. He's like, "You think you're fucking Deion Sanders?" And he just lays into me. And he's like, "Take that thing off," and then so on and so forth. It was very embarrassing.
Dude, the stuff they got away with, like how they got away with berating 7th and 8th graders, like
Dude, it's good for you though.
it
it's
is,
like,
but I mean, yeah, it's less worrisome than like the actual like hitting drills that we had to do. Where I have the day I realized I wasn't gonna make it as a football player is a DB drill where we were to just stand there, hands behind the back, chin down, and the other guy would be 4 feet away and just run and like just. They taught how to hit crown of the helmet under the chin. And I'll never forget it. This kid, Melvin, Coach Harriman goes, "What are you going to do to him, Melvin?" He goes, "Knock the snot out of him, Coach." And he just lit me
knock
up,
the
dude.
snot out of him.
And like it was.
Why does that sound so 90s?
Because it was probably like hell. It was like 98 or something. And I saw the flash. I saw the lights. I'll never. Like this is the first time I was ever hit hard. And you know your brain. God, this is getting so Joe Rogan-y. So it doesn't know. There it is. There's your first reference, not the last, surely. You know, and it doesn't know what to reference when it gets hit like that. I remember getting hit, and I saw stars, and I also saw Little Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, like the character. I saw him like getting like remember when you got hit and you were getting beat real bad, you turned like white and pink. That flashed before me in my head, and I was just like, holy shit.
Wait, what was the form? It was crown of head under helmet?
Yeah.
I think that's the exact definition of concussed.
No, it was. I was definitely concussed.
That gets you kicked the fuck out of the game
No, dude,
nowadays.
Yeah.
It's when your teeth clink, right? Like if you like that's why you wear the mouth guard.
That's a side effect of crown in the bottom of someone's helmet.
Well, yeah, he would put
Yeah.
it. They would tell you that's how they told you to wrap up. They say wrap up, put your the top of your helmet under his face mask, under his chin,
Yeah.
wrap up.
Yeah.
And that's how they taught us to hit. And like this dude was athletic, man. He was probably actually like 16 at the time, and he just lit me up.
Duncanville had serious athletes.
Oh, Duncanville was no joke.
Yeah,
that was
I
back
know.
when we like had like
I used
the
to
best,
hoop with those guys.
Yeah, they were. I mean, we won state that year.
They all compared me to Rick Smits.
Really?
Do you remember who that is?
Oh yeah, former Pacers.
Yeah,
guy.
I used to wear high socks occasionally, and they caught me doing that one time, and all hell broke loose.
I love that. Wait, how did you end up playing with Duncanville guys?
We were like
Travel team?
whether it was whether it was
AAU?
AAU or whether it was like at a conference, at a district, whatever. Like there was a bunch of times I played football with them too. I probably lit you
Brad
up
was
once.
also like
You probably
all-star
did.
Westlake basketball guy.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say I got to there. I had the potential to be really good.
Joe,
I never really.
I just
Okay.
remember because
That
I was
great.
always in the crowd, drunk, like yelling. I remember you, Brian Walker, like at fucking Brad Buckman. Brad Buckman is he's an Austin dude, and he played at UT and fucking giant motherfucker that
I
was
was
like
always guarding
way
him in
too big.
practice.
He was like the guy that was like obviously going to play in college and was
He was McDonald's
towered over
All-American.
everybody. McDonald's All America, yeah.
Damn.
All American, and he like it was like it was like a it was like him. It was like watching like a professional athlete play against high school kids. Like he would just get the ball and break away and then just fucking jam it every time. It was ridiculous.
We played one game, so like it was probably like over a year ago.
Oh,
we played one pickup game with like everybody in the company, not everybody in the company, but like 8 dudes, and both Joe and Brad they're both good players. You can tell. Like obviously they've got
Y'all
a height
played a
advantage.
pickup game? When did y'all play a pickup game?
At the
A
country
long-
We
club.
went down
Yeah,
to Lost
Lost
Creek.
Creek.
It was like
A long
Cisco.
time ago, yeah.
Well, like the whole thing was like we're going to
Oh,
start
because they have
doing
the
this.
outdoor court there.
Yeah.
yeah.
We were going to try to start doing it weekly.
Dude, Ad used to. Well,
Ad-
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so beat after that.
I
There was
was
not
too.
a lot of
I
lateral
was
movement. It
we
was
unbelievable.
like,
we should get that going again. That was fun.
I love it. It's very fun.
Basketball is the sport that will reveal your your natural athletic abilities. Like
Or
Like-
not.
well,
Or lack
right?
of.
No,
Yeah.
or lack
Yeah.
of, right? Like I'm terrible at basketball because I have zero. Like I can like hit a golf ball only because I've tried really really hard to figure out like how to hit a golf ball. But like basketball, it's like if you're not naturally athletic, like you're gonna look like an idiot. It's it's like I think it's like I don't know. I feel like it takes like the most athleticism because you got to be.
I've never played soccer. Like I've never been a foot guy. Like,
Soccer's probably similar,
I got hand
yeah.
eye. I don't got foot eye. So like they say that's the super athlete sport.
Okay, I could
say-
see that.
I'd say basketball takes quite a bit of just about every aspect of athleticism.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
a lot of fast twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for me. What was the greatest grind you ever
We
hit?
covered this already. I'm telling you that.
No,
middle
but what
school
grind was it?
Oh, you mean like
Like,
what
were
style?
you hitting the soul grind?
See, it's been a while. I can only remember like the classics, like the Royales and the.
Oh, dude, Royale scared me. Could you ever
Topside
backslide?
something or another? Yeah, I could backslide. I could do all. I could.
You
do
could
it
do them all.
Yeah,
I've always heard you were really good. You were better than me.
I was like all Central Texas.
Really?
Yeah, on the Blade circuit.
Did you ever end up in like a
Blade
weird
circuit.
skate video?
No, because there was no like. I don't even have many pictures. It was, for whatever reason, there's no cell phones and stuff, so it's like.
Yeah.
But we would like tour around downtown. And, like the Omni Hotel was like it had like this famous curb that was all waxed up that we would go grind. And, like,
Oh, you
we
would
was
just
always
ruin
getting like
curbs.
chased off. Like,
Isn't that a shame that like that like we didn't have a way to capture all of that? Like how much cool shit? How fun would it be to like look back at like old skate videos?
I got on
back in the
Facebook
day.
and like messaged some of my old skater buddies because Dave and I were talking about blading. And I was like, "Hey, do you guys have any like Polaroids from back then?" And like just crickets. Like nobody even responded.
I have a shoebox at my parents' house of old. It's actually Polaroids, and I had like an old school Canon camera. Humble brag. and like there's photos of me like grinding bike racks at the middle school.
Those were hard.
See, I was always into taking photos, and then like my parents got a digital video camera, and I just like commandeered it, and then it was like right when I was into skateboarding. This is kind of sad. So like I had a shitload of like awesome old video footage, and then right after school, Kim and I moved into an apartment, and it burned down to the ground.
you lost it all?
Everything burned down, and so like we
Remember
didn't have.
this.
It was like a tiny apartment. We didn't have like nice furniture or anything, but we had like all of our like sentimental shit. Like I had like shoe boxes filled with these digital videotapes that had like all sorts of like high school parties and like college shit and like and then like even back further to like the skateboarding stuff. All fucking burned up.
God.
I know. Just if the internet, if the fucking cloud existed, it would all be on the.
I sent him to get a
It
beer.
would all.
for
It
me.
would all be on the
Oh,
cloud.
okay. I was gonna
Micah,
say-
Micah, give me one too. 4.
So my
Can I have a
parents.
beer
3
too?
more, please.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
good.
good. We should definitely not edit this out.
So my parents, like, they weren't real proud of me for being a rollerblader. Big shock here, but so we had like video footage of me like in Little League baseball and stuff, and we have footage of high school stuff. But there's like this kind of vortex where skating happened.
They didn't want to document.
There's not a whole lot of it. Yeah, but
They didn't want any of the family archives.
We had this tape. It was like a VHS tape of me hitting a grand slam when I was like I was probably like 8 years old off like a t-ball like soft pitch.
That is baller.
And I ended up taping over it on accident with Jurassic Park because it was on TV. It was a
Great movie, though.
devastating.
I get it.
was
Yeah, it's a
devastating.
classic.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's how I lost my my old footage.
So, how does your career as a rollerblader help you currently land sales deals for websites?
I don't even know. I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
It's too many ways is where I'm going with this. Like,
Yeah, I mean, just we've got
it's
time.
so often
I mean,
that I have to do a 360 and land on a desk or something.
Yeah, all the time.
So all right, I'm fuzzy on. I can't remember the details about like what spurred our initial conversation.
Okay, so straight out of school, I got a job doing like kind of like really general broad sales for a country club, doing like membership
Yep.
stuff and just kind of like the best job I could get out of school because there was hardly any work to be had.
which club?
Barton Creek, right?
Country Club. Yeah. At the
Classic.
time, it was Omni, and it's changed multiple ownerships since then. But so I did that. It was kind of like inbound calls, like whatever. It wasn't any sort of like really hardcore sales job. Like it was hourly plus commission. So I did that for like a year and a half and got my foot in the door with KGSR, which was a radio station. KGSR is like the live music station of Austin. It's like a AAA style radio station. So
How'd you get your foot in the door from Barton Creek to KGSR?
So I had my foot in the door always with radio because my dad places media with all of these radio, like
Yep.
every radio station in Austin knows who my dad is because he places large media budgets, and so like
he's the agency buyer.
right. And so I like when I first got out of school, like I had probably 30 job interviews with different stations where like because I had this in, they had to like let me interview, and I always got to the end and like didn't get the job because there's somebody who had a bunch of experience or whatever it was. And so like
PGP.
I like really like, but that was kind of where I like envisioned myself going straight out of school. And so I got this kind of like general sales job where I just kind of started getting like 9 to 5 experience. And that was enough so that when this opening did happen at KGSR, they kind of like brought me in. I interviewed, like competed against other people, and ended up getting the job. And the unique thing about KGSR is it has kind of like, in the grand scheme of things, lower ratings than some of like the bigger like super pop stations in the Austin market. And so their niche was like event marketing, so that you would do ads on the radio, but you would also be a presenting sponsor of these different like live music events, which was like KGSR specialty. And so like I had kind of like this broad experience from like 2010 to the end of 2013 into 2014, where I was selling like live event music sponsorships to ACL or, you know, Austin City Limits, whatever it is. Blues on the Green was one of the real popular ones that we sold. So I had like all this general experience, and I was hanging out. I forgot who even sent me the lead. Somebody sent me this job lead to work for Post Grad Problems and Total Frat Move. There was like they were looking for somebody to handle like their advertising, basically, like kind of
I remember now.
Yeah. And so I knew Madison, and I didn't even connect the dots. Like I looked at the job listing, I was like, I could do that job pretty well. Like I might as well just see what this is about. Like, cause I couldn't like work my way up in the radio industry because these senior people they weren't going to leave. They're still there. Like,
were you familiar with the brands at this point? Sorry.
Vaguely. Like I knew Post Grad Problems more than I knew Total Frat Move.
Really?
Here's what's funny.
First time ever.
Well, and I knew McGann like that. I think McGann's the one who sent me the job lead.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Okay. So here's what's funny about this. I'm now remembering.
Right.
Brad. So my email address is on the job posting to
That's
like send an email to me. Brad sends in like, you know, like a application essentially like via email, and it's like super formal. It's like it was written as if it was to like a straight, like someone that you like. You didn't know it was me. Yeah,
yes.
you didn't know it was me.
I was just
because like I got it, and then I remember.
Whom it may concern.
I'm gonna go dig back in Gmail and look at the
there
exchange because I'm pretty sure I probably was like, dude, hey, what the fuck?
Exactly. And you're like, you want to go to lunch? And I was like, yeah, let's go to lunch.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like describe the state of the advertising department and like kind of how you saw it all fitting together. And we discussed like kind of generally how my current job worked and kind of like how the commissions and all these different things worked. And we worked out like this deal where it was kind of similarly structured. And the difference would be that I was kind of like the sole person responsible for like fielding these leads and kind of like managing how different ad campaigns are executed.
Like
so like
very early on in our third party advertising efforts.
Exactly. And so like to go back to KGSR, it was like events marketing that had some like radio support, and then they also had like ventured into digital advertising. They had like website, they had kind of like a few different offerings. So like I had this very basic understanding of digital advertising and how to sell it, and I knew how to work and like manage relationships with ad agencies. And so I had like the fundamental basis of what was necessary to like basically be the sole ad guy there for like, and I was there for like probably 2 years. I was like the only guy kind of like managing and handling advertising sales, and like I was always like hitting Joe up to help me come up with marketing like concepts to pitch to advertising campaigns, and Ross. It was pretty awesome.
Well, that segues perfectly into our new segment.
Oh yeah.
Joe's failed advertising pitches. So
hit the fucking theme song, Micah.
We don't have a theme song for this.
I don't
Hit
think
it when
it's
you
fair
get
to
it,
call it
baby.
failed because it's not Joe's fault. It's
well, they
did fail.
They are
Failure is
failed.
not always your fault.
so they weren't purchased.
Rejected.
I would say they're
they're not
winning ideas.
I would
they
say-
just weren't purchased.
I don't think reject
because
is the
they're not
right
brand
word
safe.
because we fully support and endorse these ideas, but they're failed because they were not purchased.
Which is a failure more on my part than Joe's, to be
No,
clear.
it's a failure on their part.
It's a
I
failure
didn't sell
on
it.
the industry.
Dude,
So to frame this up, here's how it
we got
works.
an opener? Oh, yeah, here we go.
So you've got all these brands, big brands. Let's say, who's the studio that did Sausage Party?
Sony, I think.
Sony. All right.
I could be
Sony
wrong.
Studios produces a lot of movies. They've got a lot of different movies. They've got a massive overall marketing budget for the year. That budget is then broken down into, we're going to spend X% on this movie, Y% on this movie, and it's divvied up among the movies that they're going to release for the year. And then those budgets are sent over to their ad agency. And their ad agency then further breaks up the budget to say, we're going to spend this percentage on billboards, this percentage on TV commercials, this percentage on magazine advertisements, this percentage on digital, and so on and so forth. So like these budgets, it's like insane amounts of bureaucracy, getting down to the point where we get hit up by some agency rep at the agency that represents Sony Pictures for the film Sausage Party, and they say, hey, Grand X, what can you do to promote Sausage Party? And at that point, we sit in a room and we come up with ideas. Joe he's an idea guy. He's not good for anything else, but he's great for ideas. And sometimes he has really good ideas that, because of like crazy bureaucracy involved in like 17,000 layers of approval from agency to client, they don't get approved. So we have a new segment where Joe is going to explain his great ideas that never got bought.
Before you jump into this, to give it a little more context, they give us what's like called an RFP, and it describes what the goal of the campaign
Who
is.
they
And
want to
so-
read.
Request for proposal.
RFP. And so they have like general, like super broad ideas that are like listed out there, are supposed to be concept thought starters. And so for this particular one, I think it was like the theme of like custom, like original written content needed to be the secret life of foods.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that was
right.
what it was
It
called.
was- yeah.
And then there was one other like thing that was supposed to get your like mind churning, and
Well, they wanted
Thought starters,
yeah,
as they
well,
say in the
so-
industry.
Yeah, so we get the Sausage Party RFP, and like Madison said, I love these things where I can just like take my head out of a spreadsheet and just like think of some really off the wall shit, but it never works, or very rarely has worked. So we'll have plenty of material for this segment. But so Sausage Party, yeah, just like you were saying, Brad, it's like the idea is like the secret life of food, or like what food's doing when you're not looking. And the added caveat that neither of you mentioned was, I don't know if it was outright stated or just implied, that Seth Rogen would basically be checking out some of these.
right, yeah, it would be put in front of his
Be
eyes to
reviewing
like a-
final concept.
Right. So, yeah. So what
No
we
pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. That was like, I was like really racking my brain for it. And, basically we came up with a two-pronged approach. They're obviously going to get a lot of banner ads and shit like that. But the actual content on the website would be food blogs, but not like the food blog girls do after graduation. It's a food blog written by the food, featuring first person accounts as if it was written by food, with headlines like, I'm an Oreo and I feel like I don't fit in anywhere. I'm a tomato and I'm coming out of the pantry, and I'm a cucumber used for I'm a cucumber and I was used for sexual pleasure. So, just like a good first person perspective.
I would read that blog.
I know. And we even like started the content on it with a couple lines, and I was excited about that. That's just unique, and you could just throw Sausage Party banners on the site all day, but if you're actually like getting some really
Very topical.
out there but funny content,
On brand, too.
on brand too.
Honestly, what else could be more topical or on
The
brand for
saddest thing,
Sausage
though,
Party?
the saddest thing
I
for
agree.
me is like Joe gets going and he like presents this concept, like this broad, like really super creative, well synced up idea, and like when we're sitting there listening to him pitch it, like all of us like have bought this thing, like we're ready to go.
No,
and so like then
I
I have
was
to
in
take
this
it
meeting.
and put it into
yeah,
like
you were,
a
weren't you?
spreadsheet, and it's just, it doesn't translate like to the creative like genius that this pitch was. Like,
Well,
you, and you
I
still
was
have
in the
more to
meeting.
explain.
We were
but,
all
like,
we were all
it's
just
beautiful.
spitballing, I guess. Spitballing PGP. We were all in there and we're whiteboarding shit. And yeah, I remember Joe like pitching that. I was like, oh, that's really funny. Like we could nail that.
Wait, but that's
That
only
brings-
part of it.
Yeah,
only
that's
half.
part I was excited about. Like, it was pretty cool. But my real pride and joy,
I think I know where this is going.
my real pride and joy of this pitch was a social kind of outreach system based on an Instagram account that I created when I was just buzzing on this idea the night before. And that Instagram account is @sexualfoods.
You just posted.
I just posted
Because I
again
opened Instagram and I was like, what the hell is this
because
account?
I'm hoping I get some followers from this, because there might still be something to it. But yeah, so it's @sexualfoods is the Instagram account. The main little headline is FILF, as in, you know, food I'd like to fuck.
Filth.
Filth. And yeah, well, basically it's just an account of a bunch of food that looks. Yeah, well, thanks for pulling it up, Mike.
My favorite's the Cheeto.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of food. It's a bunch of food that looks like dicks. I highly recommend.
Vaginas
And
and dicks
vaginas.
and boobs.
and butts,
And breasts.
But you know,
basically sex.
yeah,
But unless you're, yeah.
Well,
we're
so when
covering
you first
everything.
pitched this idea, I remember thinking like, surely they're like, okay, there might be a few images out there that
there's so
like,
many.
I was like, is there really enough to like have an entire feed? And you're like, trust me,
Yes.
there's enough.
If there's
Didn't
anybody,
you like show me a potato chip or something that looked like a dick 2
I
days
did.
later?
No,
Yeah.
I did. Like one that I actually found.
So yeah, the whole idea
Santa.
here was to just like blow this account up, like kind of make it hidden
look,
that it was
alright.
a sausage party ad until like later down the road. And
Yes, they fucking blew it. All right, anybody listening, go to Instagram. Hold on, what is it? It's
Sexual Foods.
@Sexual Foods. It's fucking
One word,
hilarious.
no
The
hyphens.
thing,
And
the
and
message-
Sausage Party completely blew it by not buying this.
The message that doesn't quite translate when you build it into a pitch is we have this uncanny ability to grow social media feeds,
Yeah.
like especially
Right.
Instagram, like with what we've done with like TFM Girls, for instance, like it's 1 million plus, and at the time we pitched this, it was 0, like, or it was
Right.
very
Right.
low, and so like
it has no this like we let's blow this up just in case there's some use for it.
I mean, I'm hoping we
Sequel.
get, you know, our couple.
It has
couple
7
listeners.
followers because we've
I'm
never
one of 'em.
publicized it.
Right, because I've just held it in. Yeah, but yeah, like, okay, you're Seth Rogen. You're sitting down. You've been dealing with all these stupid fucking pitches over and over again. Banner ads here, bullshit there, and then you read @Sexual Foods. What the fuck is that? You've never seen food this sexy. Sexual Foods is a Grand X-owned Instagram account dedicated nothing but pure filth. By leveraging Grand X's media websites and social media reach, Sexual Foods will become a viral sensation, sustaining the world one very confused boner at a time. Are you weirdly turned on yet? Us
Yeah.
too.
Okay, here's
Hypothetical.
my take on this. There's no way they even sent this to Seth Rogen, because if they
No way.
did, then they would have bought it. Because there's absolutely no way that he would have turned that down.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad we got to put the word boner in a formal ad deck and got to send
That's how we
it
do
Well, and that's
business.
the goal
That's
at
how
the
we
end of the
that's
day.
how we do
we
deals.
put-
Even if they don't close,
You know,
that's how we do
it's,
deals.
It's all about putting your boner sorry.
the cover page just covered in like giant melons too of our pitch deck.
Yeah, no,
It
like
was not
literally
yeah.
the front of the pitch is all these sexual looking foods, and it's
what
just
agency was that?
I don't
can't
know,
remember
but
now.
they're on my shit list.
But so like the real benefit there would have been that we had like created this giant account that would have X amount of followers, and then we would hand the keys over to them like on release week, so that they would have like
Yeah.
this completely like awesome piece of content that perfectly.
Well, it's
meshes
like you
with
don't-
their
you don't-
Could
idea.
have continued building into the iTunes release, and then until the end of time.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I think like back in the day when I created my Facebook account, when it was like before it like truly associated like the things you liked with like actual pages and whatnot, you just like entered it in. So it was like, what are your favorite movies? And I put in my favorite movies. One of them was Big Lebowski. Like, so then eventually they figured out how to associate like the stuff that you like punched in yourself like back in the day with like the actual page. So now I follow like the official Big Lebowski page on Facebook, and they still are pushing like Big Lebowski tees and like limited edition DVD, like fucking collector's edition. Like, they blew it. They could have had this until the end of time for their fucking movie.
With
and now,
like endless amounts of
foods.
like you could have taken that in so many different creative angles.
Now,
It was just
you know what we
unique.
need to do?
I love that we take it personally too.
I take it. Joe,
I
I mean,
would.
Joe takes it
It's a
personally.
good
I take
idea.
it personally on behalf of Joe. But here's the thing: is like what we need to do is blow this up and then sell it to like Whole Foods or something.
Yeah,
Brand
but
safety.
minus the W.
No. Let's plug it into the Grand X system
Whole
and
Foods.
start like an edgy grocery store chain.
You know,
Dude, that's the
Late
Grand
night
X.
grocery delivery.
This is the Grand X food blog. Like food blogs are like generic. Like that's like our tasty.
You just want sexy food sometimes, you
Yeah.
know?
You know, speaking of sexy, let's toss this thing over to my bookie. Let's talk about it.
Toss it.
You know, here's the deal. We're talking about food and stuff, and when you're watching the games this weekend or you know, the Super
Games
Bowl
are over.
as it will be, you're going to need food.
You
The
need
Pro
apps
Bowl.
at your Super Bowl party.
You need apps and not applications. I mean, like chips and dip and whatnot. But what goes with chips and dip is gambling. And that's where mybookie.ag comes into play. Right now, if you use the promo code BIZ, that's BIZ, that's Z as in zebra, they will match your contribution 50%. They will take whatever you can contribute, and they will do 50%.
and it
top of
doesn't
that.
just
like
end,
half of
like,
double.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't end at the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
it's like-
There's March
yeah.
Madness
It's like a
coming up.
dope-ass
Like
401k.
Yes.
And you guys can't see it right now, but Dave's wearing sunglasses,
Well,
and
they can
it's
see
making. Oh yeah, they can see it.
Dude, this
It-
sun
it-
is brutal.
It makes the message that much cooler coming from you. But Dave, what do I do? I'm only an amateur.
Oh, you silly bitch.
Please let us
Look,
keep that, Micah.
Here's how it works.
Please,
Joe, I'm about to hit you.
I'm
with
an
some
amateur.
truth.
What do I do, Dave?
Here's how it works. You play, you win, you get paid. Even though you're only an amateur, expert, or rookie, you have to try MyBookie.
Gotta.
fastest payouts in the industry,
Yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
I don't know why I said
So
that.
like, all right, if I was
Probably.
like, if I was like, hey
Likely.
Dave,
Likely.
I know I got some inside information on this stock, and it's gonna go up
Dude, don't-
50%
millions of people are going to hear this.
by tomorrow.
Are you giving me a tip?
No, I'm saying theoretically.
Oh, sorry. I thought
If I
this was like
told you,
insider
if I
trading.
told you that you could buy this stock today and tomorrow it was going to be 50% higher,
I'd
would
do
you
it all
buy?
day. Yes, because white collar crime is frat. I don't give a fuck.
True.
speaking
But
of white collar
I don't
crimes,
mean
white collar
that.
crime.
have y'all heard
Very
about
frat.
what Bernie Madoff is doing in prison?
Wait, he's got like a.
This is on brand.
He's got like a. It's a hot chocolate monopoly. Is that what it is?
Bernie Madoff. All right. So there's a great article. I forgot who. I think Washington Post. I don't know someone. There's a great
Washington
article.
Compost. No, I'm
Ooh.
kidding.
Hey.
No, it's a good
Burn.
publication.
Burn.
All right,
Dude.
go on.
Don't talk
Sad.
shit on Bezos. All right. Bernie Madoff in prison is fucking doing deals. And his notorious deal that they just wrote about is he bought up all of the Swiss Miss hot chocolate packets in prison. Every one of them. He bought them. And now he is the only person in prison who you can get hot chocolate from. So he's like selling them at a markup. And apparently he's like this like super respected guy in the white collar penitentiary because he scammed like the most people. And that's like apparently how like the hierarchy works. And they call him like Uncle Bernie, and they refer to him as like Mr. Madoff. And they all have like this, like, it's like the weird, like that's like this weird subculture that exists that no one even fucking knows about. Bernie Madoff is cornering the hot chocolate market in prison and is like a god to all the other guys that committed white collar crimes because he fucked over the most people.
That's
So
fucking
mybookie.ag.
Yeah, so exactly right, Madison. Thank you for that's a good story. We covered it on TFM, I think. So right now, you can go on there and you can play, you can win, you can get paid. That's how it works. Use promo code BIZ. Micah, you scrolling motherfucker right now. No, that's how it works. So thank you, MyBookie, for all of that. Let's toss it to the other podcast.
Hey guys, Jared Borsell here with the Inside TFM podcast. Every week, me and my co-host Jay Goldman are bringing you the best college stories, drunk stories, absurd shit from around the nation.
We're also going to be taking your calls from you drunk degenerates every week, so be sure to call in and give us a listen.
We can't legally tell you to get drunk, but don't call into our hotline unless you are drunk.
That's completely out of line and totally going to get us in trouble, but that's okay. Subscribe on iTunes anyway.
Hello, I'm Ross Bullen, and I'm here to tell you about our sports podcast called Backdoor Cover, hosted by myself and Dylan Chivalry.
What's up, Billy?
How you doing, Dylan?
Fantastic.
Great. If you like sports or you have a gambling problem of some kind, we are probably the podcast for you. Again, the name is Backdoor Cover. We're on iTunes and SoundCloud. Every week we talk about the biggest stories in sports, pick some games. We talk about life.
We just have a lot of fucking fun.
We do. We have a great time. Hit us up, Backdoor Cover.
You're sitting at your desk. You're bored. You're combing through spreadsheets wondering how the hell you're supposed to distract yourself. You know what the answer is to that? The Touching Base podcast.
You got time to kill, baby. Kill it with us, Touching Base. Just give us a shot to earn your business. I promise we will not let you down. Thank you.
Subscribe on iTunes.
All right, I appreciate that so much, other podcasts. That was fantastic stuff. Hey, you know what? Speaking of other podcasts, we could use some reviews on our podcast.
We
got some. We got some new ones.
We did the call out.
This is a call to action.
We got we got a couple, like 6 or so rolled in.
Let's
Three
hear
people
some.
actually wrote them, but we'll read them off. And first of all, we've got Brian Cott saying this podcast is tight. Hey, give this podcast a listen. Start closing deals. These guys know what's up.
Yeah,
we do know what's up.
I appreciate that. I would
You know what's
agree.
up, and you will start closing deals if you listen to
I
us.
think this is a tight podcast.
and it's
Yeah.
tight.
No,
Extra
I
tight.
think so. Brad, what do you think? This is your first time.
Facts all around.
Yeah.
Facts.
only.
Next up, we've got Richard Roma. Get the chalk. Not since Sheldon the Machine Levine closed for Nyborgs and for $82,000 have I seen such consummate salesmanship and an unwavering drive to close.
I see you, Roma.
That's Glengarry, Glenn Ross reference,
Yeah.
right?
Which, by the way, we could do an entire podcast on, I guess, movies, DCO, Deal Closers Only movies. That's probably up there, top 5.
They played that in my marketing class.
Really?
What's ahead
that's
of
great.
Glengarry Glenn Ross for
I don't
Deal
know.
Closers Only?
I don't know. I mean, let's save it. Look, I've got
Wait, what was the
opinions.
question?
All right,
Save
not
it
to
for another
derail. Let's
podcast.
keep going, Joe.
We'll fucking tease it.
Oh, well, last one's my favorite. This is a review by Please Mute Joe.
Oh, come on.
And the
Wow.
subject is Joe No, like N-O dash let, like my name, but instead of N-U-L-L-E-T, it's N-O.
I respect that. He took your name and made it into something.
I get it.
Joe Nolut.
Yeah. He said, still a 5-star cast despite Joe's droning, worthless takes. No offense, which makes it all okay.
Well, no offense, but
And-
your takes are worthless.
And the fact that, we're still 5 stars. And, I respect the fact that he did something cool with my name. My fiance and I are doing the whole wedding hashtag brainstorming right now. And
Congrats
thank you.
on the wedding.
The hashtag. But yeah, I know my name's a pretty tough one to be funny with. But, really all we've got right now is we won't annul it and party and null shit. And I don't know if either of those are going to be okay
Hey,
with the
You know
whole
what? We
fam.
want to hear from the listeners. Joe specifically wants to hear your thoughts. He tweeted this out. He had a Twitter poll. Give him some ideas.
Give me some hashtags.
Tell him what
Pre-null.
We're pretty transparent.
Chivals?
Null
Wait, what is it? Is that
What's what?
wait?
So
what's
nuptials.
No, not nuptial. What am I thinking of? What's a prenup?
Prenup?
Prenup's
what's the
probably
full?
not
What's the
needed,
full?
no.
Prenuptial.
We don't want that to be in there.
prenuptial.
Nullital.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it's tough.
Yeah, that's kind of I get that. It's kind of putting a negative connotation on the entire thing before it happens.
Yeah.
Because prenup.
But I will personally send you a Man Outfitters gift card if you can send me a hashtag we use.
Whoa! Hashtag spawn.
It might be $1, but we'll see.
Nullet has to be incorporated, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's his last name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's typically how wedding hashtags work. Ashley.
Just clarifying for the listeners.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, can we give?
Well, I have to pick.
Can we
'em.
give her last name? I don't know.
Yeah. It's Vega, Vega. So
and that's interesting because Vega is an all-time top 3 Street Fighter 2 character.
true.
We climb that fence and
3?
just fuck your dope up with that claw.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I love Vega. He was a pretty boy.
Yeah. So yeah, if send me a hashtag on LinkedIn or throw it in a review. I don't
Go
care.
to a review. Hell, we don't care. 5 stars.
5 stars. Yeah.
Joe, where can we find you on social media if we're looking for you?
If you're looking for me, you can find me on the old Instagram at jpnullet. You can also find me on Instagram at Sexual Foods. That's my backup account.
How is that even available? It's crazy to me.
I'm ahead of the curve, Dave.
You are.
And you can also find me on Twitter at Joe Nullet and LinkedIn.
All right, Brad. Where you at?
Oh, the only way you can follow me is on Total Frat Move, Post Grad Problems, or Total Sorority Move, and you'll know it's me if it's sponsored or something of that nature.
Hashtag spawn. That's
Yeah,
ad
if there's a
brand.
hashtag
yeah.
ad.
They
then
could
you
also
know that I had a
follow
hand
you
that.
in real life, but we want to we don't want
Eh.
that. Yeah.
I'm pretty boring.
I mean, you could always just rollerblade away too.
Yeah, but you said you're getting back on the sauce,
I am back.
so you're about to be not
So
boring.
at Bradley B Key is my Instagram account.
KEE.
Right. LEYB as in boy, KEE.
All right, Micah, thanks.
I think Micah wants a plug. He's like Micah TX Creeper.
Micah's dying,
on
dude. All these
Snapchat.
podcasts, he doesn't have a mic.
Micah TX Creeper.
Yeah, if you're-
give Micah the follow.
Yeah,
If you're
Hey,
a
look,
girl, DM him, follow
Yeah.
him, whatever the word
If you're
is.
under the age
18 to
of
19 only.
and you're if you're a girl in her freshman year of high school or college, you should just definitely hit up
No.
Micah.
He's a strikingly
On Snap.
handsome
Micah
24-year-old
TX.
man with abs.
Just
You'll
Yeah.
probably be retweeted and posted all over the internet if you DM him. So go do that.
Madison, where can we find you?
I'm Madison Wickham, and I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. MADISON WICKHAM.
They're gonna write books about the 180 you've done on Snapchat in the last 3 months.
I posted something today.
It's
Yeah,
weird
check out my Snap.
you can't do both. Like last night I was at Matt's El Rancho
No, you
eating
can't.
fajitas, and I was like, all right, I want to do like a Snap, but I'm not gonna do a Snap and an Instagram. It's one or the other.
Here's the thing: I legitimately only use social media for it's like R&D.
Research and development.
I just need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
You're a lurker.
Yeah, I'm a lurker, but I'm a user/lurker, but user for the purposes of research and development.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's how you stay young.
Where are you at, Dave?
At DC Ruff on Instagram, at D Carter Ruff on Twitter, at D Carter Ruff on Snapchat, and as always, DCOs only. Respect this network. Hit me on LinkedIn. My name is David Ruff. I work for Grand X. Deal closers only. And that, ladies and gentlemen, to take a page out of Joe Rogan's book. That's our podcast with Brad Key.
you had to throw one more Rogan.
Yeah,
It's a
look, I'm
double
gonna-
reference.
I know. It was a what?
Yeah, go listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. Just search Joe Rogan Experience on iTunes.
Well, and that's a good segment, Madison, because he had the one he released today was Dr. Rhonda
Micah,
Patrick.
can you cut the record?
Oh, okay. No, hey, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.